Good morning, everybody. This is Jesse from Fishing the Dream, and I'm going to do another little tutorial on soft plastic swim baits. I've had a lot of subscribers that are new to the sport, and they want to know a little more information on different types of rigging, and I thought I would do one on the soft plastics swim bait. Anytime that you're going to use any kind of bait in any body of water, you need to do a little more research on the area or find out what type of baits are in the area. Even when you're on the water, keep your eyes peeled. Make sure that you're checking the water for bait fish, crawfish, whatever forage might be in there. You need to try to match that forage as closely as possible without it being live bait. I mean, you can always buy live bait and fish with that, but most people are using plastics anymore, unless it's specific that you have to use a live bait. Here in a little bit, I'll go over each type of soft plastic and how they're rigged, and see how you like it. Thank you. All right, guys. What is a soft plastic swim bait? Well, they're designed to mimic bait fish. It also solely depends on what area of the country you're in and what type of bait fish you have that you match that swim bait to what's forage-wise in your water. There's a plethora of different models, designs, variations. Some that mimic shiners, shad, baby bass, crappie. Some are designed with a weighted body or a weighted hook already poured in the mold. Most of the ones I'm going to show you, most all of them, are basically jigs that you add your own jig hook to. And I usually don't use anything over about 4 inches long. I fish a lot of streams and rivers, and I don't really use that large bait. I try to match the forage, try to go with what size is prevalent in the water. And everyone should do that. If you fish different types of water, you should look, try to do a little investigation on your own. Check in the water what size the bait fish are in there and try to match that size. You don't want to throw, something that's totally opposite of what's in the water. 9 times out of 10, you're probably not going to get a bite. So that being said, they're basically designed to match the forage wherever you fish. And there are so many variations to how these things can be hooked. As I'm showing you right here, this is just with a pointed jig head with the hook coming out the back of it, which keeps it somewhat, it's not easy to snag with it hooked this way. There are other variations in this. This is actually a 3.5 inch suicide shad from Big Bite Baits. That's one of the main ones I use. Other types that I use are the Kitech, which is my favorite of all. It closely mimics the bait fish where I generally fish. It's small. It doesn't snag much. It's easy to reel through the water column, and most of the time I try to keep my baits about in the lower third level section of the water column, closest to the rocks. I do a moderate retrieve. I don't really do fast retrieves. I may speed it up a little in current, but most of the time it's just a moderate retrieve. And this is how I rig them. They're, like I say, they're virtually snag proof here, with the hook being embedded in the body through the head of the hook here. And this is an Owner 1/16 ounce ultra head, and these are very sharp hooks. Very good hook set with these. I'm really impressed with them. I use them in all different sizes on all different types of jigs. This is another variation, and this is a Z-Man style slim swim 2. This one here is just a little bit of a variation on the Kitech, and they're pretty durable. That's one thing about them. They're durable, same as the only thing is the Kitech is a little less durable. They come off the hook quite a bit. I go through quite a few of them. The Z-Man is a little sturdier, a little more forgiving bait, and it has just about the same action. I mean, you can't differentiate the two too much. And this one here is a Strike King with a VMC colored head on it. And this is also this is the Rage Swimmer. I use these also. This is a 3.25 inch. It's just as good an action as the others. I try to pick ones that are fairly close to the others, so you know, if I need just a little larger size, I can always go up a size, you know, to match the forage. Another bait that swim bait that I use, and they're not too widely known, or not too many people use them. This is a Jewel goby, which is a small, almost like a darter minnow that forages on the bottom. And I think they're more popular in the northern states. I think it's a bait fish that's more prevalent there. Like I said, Kitech makes a few different variations. This one is the Swim Impact 3.5. It's just basically got ridges in the body, but it has the same action as the others. And lastly, I use also the Zoom Super Flukes, or just the basic fluke. This is a good all-around bait, and I'll show you how this is rigged here shortly. So basically, with the fluke, you can use a worm hook. You can fish these weightless. You run it through the body. It's embedded in the body somewhat here, so you can see that it hides the hook once you pull it back down in. And basically, you can fish this with a bullet sinker, you know, ahead of it, or you can fish it weightless. Either way, it's fairly effective. A lot of people fish them like a jerk bait. They'll twitch it a little, retrieve it, stop it, retrieve it, stop it. You know, twitch motion works really well with this bait. You can also use a wide gap worm hook on them, or bait hook. They work very well, just the same. Show you a variation here. It's just the same hook. It's got a little bit wider gap on it. That's all only difference. This is the VMC jig head I was talking about. I wanted to show you a variation in different color, a little larger, which is another great hook. So that being said about the swim jigs or swim baits here, the other thing is these things are so versatile. They can be used with a underspin, which is a jig head with a willow leaf blade underneath, which adds a little more flash and a little more vibration. There's also, these are used with swim jigs themselves, like a bass jig, hairy jig, and it just adds a little more action. And they also are used as a trailer on the back of spinner baits. They're a very versatile bait. All I can really say is if you want to get good at using them, you just have to practice. You have to, you know, go through different sizes, colors. Just find what works for you. You know, practice is always the best way to learn how to use a bait. You can watch all the videos you want, but until you start getting out there and using them and retrieving them at different speeds, different water column depths, you know, matching different forage, that is really the only way that you're going to get good at anything you do. I'm just trying to put some baits out there and some options for fishermen, new fishermen. I want everyone to have a good experience at fishing. And there are so many different baits out there and so many different ways to fish that, you know, the possibilities are endless. So, like I said, if you like this video and find the information good to you, hit the like button and subscribe. There will be more of these tutorials, and I'll be doing one soon on crawfish and rigging crawfish, plastics. And like I said, if you like this, hit the like button and subscribe. I appreciate your support.